Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another Appreciating Comic Book Art video. This time starring the late, great Michael Turner. And today we're going to be looking at Soulfire. And there's a lot of things that you could pick from with Michael Turner, from Witchblade to Fathom to Batman, Superman. There's a ton of stuff that he did. But I wanted to focus on Soulfire because I don't see it really shown a lot these days. A lot of people would be like, we're going to show a lot of Witchblade stuff, and I've done a Witchblade video in the past. If you get a chance, check that out. We went over Witchblade 1. It was just like the line art, just a black and white version of it. But I really wanted to dive into Soulfire, and I got a bunch of issues here to go through. So I don't know how long we'll take this for. I guess as long as I want to. Again, trying to keep these videos around like the 10-minute mark or so. But before we get rolling, if you like this channel, or like these videos, please give me a subscribe, hit that like button, hit that bell for notifications so you get a chance to see these every time I drop these. And here we go. Let's roll into it. So Soulfire, I think I want to say it was the first book that he published under his own company, Aspen. I could be wrong with that. He might have taken Fathom from Top Cow to Aspen as well. I would have to look into that for you. But I think this was just at the top of his game. He was doing a lot of experimenting. With this book, he was really pushing into a little bit more like that fantasy aspect, but still like sci-fi elements. I always thought this would have made a fantastic TV series, especially with the technology they have today with like Amazon Prime or Netflix, or even a movie. But like awesome characters, great concept. Story by Jeff Loeb and Michael Turner, but Jeff Loeb is one of my favorite writers and scripters. Again, colors by Peter Steigerwald, who I'm pretty sure just went right over Michael Turner's pencil. So I think this starts at, we're starting out with issue 0. So we're just going to cruise through these quickly. I'm going to stop on pages like this that just really showcase his detail and his style. So when he started out, he had a very, strong kind of Mark Silvestri feel. Why wouldn't you, right? Because, you were under the tutelage of one of the masters. And as he kept on drawing, he was, developing his own style, bringing his own feel into it. Some of the manga feel, however you want to pronounce that, it started creeping into his work for the better. But just the way he drew women was obviously always top notch, and why he probably always did female-led books. He just had a really good knack for drawing sexy women and storytelling. He was a good storyteller. I've got a video. I haven't posted it. I made one the other day of the Ballistic miniseries he did. I really wanted to showcase that because that was his first main work. I haven't posted it for whatever reason. I hope to at some point, but it'd be really cool to see his progression from that, all the way through his career to this, and to some of his best work, I thought, with the Batman Superman crossover. This is just, again, if you see his original pencils, you'll see a lot of stuff that how Peter Steigerwald brings to his art and brings it all together. So, a lot of this stuff really just gets enhanced with the colors, but that's taken nothing away from the art that he was doing. Because a lot later in his career, he wasn't doing a lot of the shading. It was a little bit more like line work, and then Steigerwald would come in and do all the shading with the colors. But it gave it a really unique feel to the pages. Not so much heavy shadows with the dark inks, but a little bit more, softer, I guess you could say. But it really worked. It worked really good for his style. We're just going to keep on cruising here because I recommend you pick up all these books. And like I said, I got a ton of pages here, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time. We'll stop on stuff like this, and we'll just kind of really appreciate the dynamic aspect of his drawing, like the foreshortening, ways he could position characters. I went over this a little bit in the Witchblade video I did. He's very good at it. He's good at really pushing out parts of the picture without it making it look goofy. or just not everybody can do that. Sometimes you see a really big fist coming at the screen, so to speak, and then the rest of the body is really small. It's just like, I know what you're going for, but at the same point, like it doesn't look right. Michael Turner always had a really good balance of being able to do that. Uh, some really cool covers for this series. And I think later on, I don't think he drew this entire series. I think somebody took over. Maybe it was Benitez. I can't remember. But I can't remember how many issues he actually did of this. But again, it was just one of those things, like new characters, new story, great designs, great character designs. I mean, the aspect that they did with the hair, I'm sure that's pretty much all colors, but still, that was from Michael Turner's mind when he created that character. He had probably a definite idea of what he wanted to do, leaning into the look of that character, and it came off so well. And when I first read this book, I was just blown away because one, the colors were fantastic, and it really wasn't like anything that I'd seen up to this point. You had books like Soul Saga with Stephen Platt, and was it Battle Chasers with Joe Madureira? Kind of like that fantasy, but high technology kind of aspect. But there was just something different, and probably because it was Michael Turner. I mean, the dude was just a legend, an absolute legend. It was heartbreaking when I heard of his passing in 2008. As I remember, I stood in line for the longest time at Wizard World in, I think, 2007 in Chicago. I think he was there, if I'm remembering the year correctly. And I stood in line, and I remember I was so excited to meet him. And somebody came and they made the cutoff, the guy right in front of me. They're like, "This is it. The rest of you're shit out of luck." So that was my only opportunity I was going to have to actually meet him. And then, he passed away the year after that. It was really disappointing because I would have loved to have just told him how much I admired him and admired his work. He was a huge influence on me as far as motivation, but not necessarily style. Like if you looked at my art, it doesn't reflect Michael Turner at all. But that's fine. You can have artists that are big influences on you that you don't reflect them in your work. And I think that's good. I mean, you should have that. But just the amount of work that you would put out, the quality of work that you would do, the designs. I mean, some of the designs of his characters are just, I mean, he had to have been heavily into anime and stuff like that in video games because they kind of have that feel to it, if you know what I'm saying with that. I also recommend, I think I want to do this at some point, but I got to figure out how to do it because it's so darn big. But I have the Batman Superman Vault edition that he did. It's black and white. It's just his original pencils, and it's fantastic. But it's 11 by 17. So it's the standard size of an actual comic book paper. So it's kind of hard for me to get it onto a camera and then still be able to focus in on it. So one of these days I'll figure out how to do that, and I'll put that up there because I think people should really check that book out. Cool cover by Jim Lee there. Another cool cover by J. Scott Campbell. Yeah, and just I feel like he was doing a lot of experimenting too in this time with his style and just different thing, painting or the computer, digital paintings or whatever. Storytelling was great, just stuff like this is so simple, but it flows so well. It's just, wide open, and there's a lot of room for the colorist to come in here and do his thing and really add to the story. It's a good thing to keep in mind when you're drawing a comic book is that you have the extra added element of a colorist. You gotta allow them to have some room to play and do some things as well. Just like you gotta allow the inker, same thing. You gotta give them some room. Tight pencils is really cool, but if you get pencils that are too tight, then you're bringing an inker on, and basically he's just kind of tracing over, maybe adding a little stuff. You can do tight pencils with an aspect of looseness, then you can get a really good inker to come in that knows what they're doing and brings it all together. They put their flavor on it, and the colorist comes in, it just becomes a really unique product. So yeah, if you get a chance, check out Soulfire. I don't see it talked about a lot, but I think it's just fantastic work. You know, it's a really good story. It's a fun adventure story, and I think he just hits on all cylinders with this book. It doesn't have the acclaim that, you know, like a Witchblade or like Aspen had, or Fathom had when it came out, you know, but it's very quality work, and it's cool because there's a chance to jump into his mind beyond like the Fathom aspect. You know, that was cool with the ocean, you know, and his love for the ocean. If anybody knows Michael Turner, he really liked like sports. He liked the water sports. He liked being in the ocean, and that book really reflected a lot of his love for that in those stories. And the visuals of that book were fantastic as well. You know, I'll have to do a book on, or I'll have to do a video on Fathom, because that's some really great art as well. But this was just a different, this was a different level. It was a different like kind of experiment I thought that he was doing, and it was I dug it. I dug it a lot when I was younger. So I hope you enjoyed it too, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you like this video, you like this series of videos, you like my channel, please subscribe. I really appreciate that. That would help me out a lot. Hit that bell, like it, share it, spread the word. I appreciate all the help. And also check out my other channel, Art and Stuff. I have a show every Friday at 8:30 with my co-host Sean Arendt, talking with comic book artists, comic book creators, independents, professionals alike, about the industry, about art in general. It's just a real fun, laid back show. So, all right, guys, until next time, talk to you all.